Howdy critters, welcome back to Dead Appalachia. We are in my home state of Tennessee on a gorgeous winter day, and we're just going to go over some layering. Now, if you're new to the whole backpacking, bushcraft, exploring scene, you may be unfamiliar with how to properly layer. A lot of folks, when they first start out, they just throw on a bunch of layers, bunch of Carhartt layers, bunch of layers made out of cotton they found at Wally World, and they think that's going to keep them warm and dry. But unfortunately, that's not quite the case. You see, when you're crossing many miles in the backcountry, or you're doing a lot of camp chores while bushcrafting, you're swinging an axe, you're sawing trees, you're picking up logs, you're throwing them about, you work up quite a sweat. And even when it's cold like it is today, it's pretty chilly right now, but even when it's cold, you are going to sweat. And basically, that's what a layering system's all about, managing sweat above all things. So I'm going to give you a scenario. Assume you're wearing, what a lot of new folks do when they buy outdoor gear and they go on their first camping trip. Throw on a whole bunch of layers, maybe a Carhartt hoodie and a Carhartt shell over that, and they hike, let's say 7 miles into the bush. Mile 1, you're going to be hot. It don't matter how cold it is outside, you're going to be hot, you're going to be sweating. And because you sweated all day and all them layers, all them heavy equipments, the moment you get to a camp and you sit down and your body temperature cools down, you're gonna get cold really, really quick. Your body temperature is just gonna shoot down. And you may think, oh, I have all these layers, it's gonna be fine. I have this big old coat. But it's not gonna be fine because you sweat through all those clothing. And all those clothing is now wet. And if you didn't choose the right materials like cotton, there's a reason why there's the old adage, cotton kills. Cotton does not insulate very well, and it sure as shit does not dry well. You can wear, cotton just kind of plasters to your skin and sticks there. And if it's really cold outside and you're not moving and your body temperature's dropping down and you have wet cotton just stick to your body, cooling you down, you're gonna be cold, you're gonna be sticky, you're gonna be miserable. Choosing the right materials and layering properly is essential for learning how to be more experienced in the backcountry, to extend your trips to multiple days, and just in general be more comfortable. Now, of course, the different layering system you use depends whether you're in winter, fall, summer, or really even more so depending on where you live in the country. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on cold weather camping and hiking and backpacking, and the kind of layering system that I use and the materials that I use. I'll do a video of my layering system for warm weather later in the year once we get to spring and summer. But right now it is the 1st of February when I'm filming this, so it's still quite cold. You still got to manage your sweat so you don't freeze at night once you stop moving. So I'm going to show you step by step, layer by layer, how I go about this and what I use each layer and material for. And if you like these kinds of more informative videos, let me know in the comments. I'm still going to be doing explorations. I just have a lot of videos I'm trying to edit, so this is a nice in-between video while I'm getting my exploration videos coming out and my camping videos going out. So this is just nice to fill in the blanks and give you some information, because I know a lot of newcomers to the outdoor space follow me, especially over on my Instagram. So this is for y'all. And even if you are more advanced and more experienced, maybe you can learn something from me. Probably not, but worth a try, right? All right, so let's get started with the first layer. But before all that, I'm gonna, I guess, first explain why I love wool layering for hiking and camping in the woods. So we understand by now that cotton kills. Don't wear cotton if you're backpacking, if you're camping. Cotton's fine for working. It's fine for walking around town. Ain't so good for the bush. It doesn't wick moisture very well. It doesn't dry well, and it doesn't insulate very well. The only reason why it's so prevalent today is because it's cheap to manufacture and it's plentiful. You can just keep regrowing it. If you're gonna wear anything, we're one of two things: synthetics or wool. Now, most backpackers, through hikers, people who have to travel a lot of miles prefer synthetics. because I keep having to look, make sure no one's coming around here. I'm kind of in my drawers right now. But I digress. A lot of folks who backpack, through hike, who travel a lot of miles throughout the day, they prefer synthetic because it's light, it dries super quick, it's moisture wicking. If you don't know what moisture wicking is, that's where you sweat through your skin, and then the synthetic or the merino wool takes that sweat, wicks it through the fabric, and then evaporates it. So it gets it off your skin, gets it out of your clothes, keeps you nice and dry, and insulates you quite well. And synthetics do that very well. The problem is, for me, for synthetics, I just don't like plastic on my body. I've never liked that sort of thing. I don't want plastic in my nuts, you know. And I hate the feel on my nails. You know, like how some people don't like scratching on a chalkboard or scratching a plate on a fork. I'm like that, but with my nails, with polyester and just synthetic fabrics in general. I just don't like it. Plus, I just don't like the whole chemical process of, you know, making synthetic materials like polyester. I think it's kind of bad for the environment. So that's why I prefer wool. Wool does many of the same things that polyester does, but it has some added stuff too. Unlike polyester and cotton, wool will still insulate you even if it's like soaking wet. So, and during my adventures, I mean, you saw my very first video on here, or at least I hope you did. I had to hike out here in the rain and I got completely drenched. But even though I was soaking wet and it was almost 20 degrees, the wool was keeping me nice and warm, even though it was sopping wet. And just like synthetic, wool is water resistant, it wicks moisture, and it dries really, really quick. And another added thing, unlike synthetic, when synthetic gets sweat in it, it smells awful. I mean, if you've ever taken gym class, you know that. But wool does not smell. It is antimicrobial. So even if it's covered in your sweat, in your grime, in your piss, and God knows what else, it's not going to smell. Oftentimes you don't even need to put wool in a washer and dryer. Most wool you just spot clean with a rag. That's what I do most of the time. So enough about that. That's the general rundown. I'm going to start showing you the actual layers now. Alright, first up here is my base layer. Now, a base layer's primary function above all things is sweat management. It's not really meant to insulate you. It can, but its main goal is just to wick moisture off of your body, wick your sweat away, evaporate it, and get you nice and dry. Your synthetic layer should be thin. Like I said, wool or polyester, either will work, and it's preferable if it's breathable. Right here, this is the merino wool top from I think Sarma. Sarma is a Finnish outdoor brand and Milsurp brand, and they sell a lot of good stuff, but this one is merino wool, so it doesn't stink and it will wick away my moisture real well. Some might argue that your base layer is your most important layer, because it doesn't matter how warm your other layers are, if your base layer is not wicking that moisture away from your skin, the moment you settle down for camp, the moment you start moving, that sweat that's soaked into your clothes and plastered to your skin, it's going to get cold, and it's going to make you cold, and you're going to be miserable. Having a bad base layer is going to get you to hypothermic temperatures quicker than any bad jacket or coat or anything like that. So before you get any type of coat or super expensive jacket, make sure you get real good base layers and know what you're doing. In general, when you're hiking, like I said, you get real hot real easy because you're doing a whole bunch of moving. So most folks will wear their base layer top only when they're hiking and keep everything else in their bag, and then once they get to camp, they'll put on their other layers. But once you're hiking and you're working up a sweat, they'll just wear their base layer and their normal pants. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about your socks. Same thing, you want them to be merino wool or synthetic material. These ones are merino wool. They're big old long socks from Ducks Unlimited. All right, with the base layers out of the way, we move on to the mid layer. Right now, I'm wearing the Sarma merino wool Henley, the LL Bean main skied wool breeches, and some muck boots I got from Bass Pro Shop. Now your mid layer is essentially just your base clothes, you know, that you wear walking around. Like I said, I choose a merino wool Henley. I just don't like synthetics. This is from Sarma. that Finnish brand, that Finnish milsurp and outdoor brand. This thing is also moisture wicking, so any type of sweat that may stay in my base layer can also get wicked from this. And because this is a stronger material, it's thicker, I can bushwhack through the woods in this. I don't have to worry about cuts like I might with a base layer. And despite all that, it's thin enough and the right material so that it will still wick moisture away from my skin while also keeping me quite warm because it's thicker. But it's not too thick so that if I start moving around again, if I start swinging axes, if I start using my drill, using my saw, it's not going to overheat me. You know, it's not going to just get plastered with sweat. And as for the breeches, well, it's just wearing pants basically. Same thing, no synthetics. These are a nice wool pants. They're very light, so they're not going to, you know, overheat you, but they're thick enough, and the wool material keeps you warm, very warm, especially when paired with the insulating base layer. And because it's wool and not synthetic, my manhood area ain't gonna be smelling all bad. Something else that I like about these pants, right here they have this elastic pull tab right here. I'm a larger guy, so having this so my belly don't, you know, get crushed and cinched up is very very optimal. It also comes with buttons on the inside for suspenders. I don't like to wear belts through here. I only wear a belt if I'm using my belt kit, so I like to just wear suspenders when I'm walking around town or when I'm walking around camp and I don't need my duty belt or my bushcraft belt on. A lot of folks don't like suspenders, and that's fine if you don't. But if you do like suspenders and you don't want to use those stupid gator clip ones, you want to have the actual loop suspenders, these pants have the buttons for those loops. And I just think they look pretty nifty. Alright, now we're going to move on to the next layer. It's kind of an add-on to the mid layer. It's just called the insulating layer. Now what's next is very simple. Your insulating layer. This right here is a Finnish merino wool field shirt. Now the purpose of this layer is painstakingly simple, and it's in the name. It's to insulate you. We got the base layer, which is to let you breathe, moisture, wick away sweat, and manage sweat. You got your mid layer, which insulates you and wicks sweat, and then you got your insulating layer. This one's main primary purpose above all is just to keep you warm. You don't gotta worry about it wicking moisture away. That you got your base layer and your mid layer for that. This is made out of a nice thick merino wool, so if this thing gets wet from rain, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to roll right off, and if it does soak in, it's still going to keep me nice, warm, and insulated. And because it's wool, I've noticed that this particular field coat just does not care about wind. I've had gusts of wind just blow at me all night while I've been wearing this, and it kept the wind off me. It doesn't go through it at all. So I love this insulating layer. This is what you wear when you get to camp. You don't wear this when you're hiking. You don't wear this when you're doing camp chores, because it's just going to make you overexert yourself. It's going to get you too hot. It's going to make you sweat. You wear this when you start to cool down, when you're chilling at camp, or maybe when you're about to go to bed, just to keep you warm. So there's not really much else to say. This is just to keep you warm. And that's it. It ain't real complicated. Folks will just do it the wrong way, you know. Folks will see that it's real cold outside, and so they'll throw on like 3 jackets, and it just, not only is it a lot of weight you have to carry both in your pack and on your person, it's just going to make you overheat. And a lot of people don't think that that's such a bad problem because they're not out here in the woods as much as we are. They think, oh well, it'll be fine, you know. I'll work all day in multiple jackets, but it just ain't the same, you know. So be smart, layer smart. It's a simple thing that a lot of people think is real complicated and real complex. You just got to be smart about it and what you wear. You know, just cause it's 20 degrees outside, that doesn't mean you need to be hiking in 2 jackets, 2 shirts, and a big old scarf around your neck. Right now it's about 30-ish something degrees, and just in this I am perfectly warm because I layered properly and I used the right materials. And very last on the docket for the layering system is your shell. Your shell is pretty self-explanatory. It's the shell. It's kind of like a turtle shell. It shelters you from the wind and rain. Most folks just use like a Gore-Tex rain jacket. This is just a basic rain jacket I got from Wally World. It ain't the best thing, but you know, it's kept me dry when I've needed it to keep me dry. Now, I would not, you can wear this if you need the extra insulation, but honestly, these rain jackets and these type of shells are so thin that they offer next to no insulation. Maybe they might trap some body heat through the pockets, but other than that, these main primary goal is to just keep you dry when it starts pouring down piss rain, or if it's like super windy and it's like freezing you out. But I almost never wear my shell. Some folks do. If you live in the north where it snows, or out west where there's constant wind, I reckon you might need to use your shell a lot more. But this is a layering system suited for Appalachia, and down here all the trees and hills and mountains break most of the wind, and the snow we do get is nothing like it is up north. So I almost never wear my shell, but I always keep it no matter what, just in case it does start to, you know, piss pour rain on me. And here we have one more bonus layer, my overall bibs. You've probably seen me wear these. I wore these for the past 3 YouTube videos. I've shown them a lot in my Instagram. These are just wool overalls from Filson. They're called the Mackinac wool bibs, something like that. I'll post down in the description, of course. But these are just kind of a mixture of a shell and an insulating layer. They're very tough. I've bushwhacked through thorns, ticks, branches, all kinds of stuff, just God knows what else in these overalls, and I've never felt a pinprick, not one. They haven't ripped, they haven't done nothing, and they're incredibly warm. They're made out of virgin wool. Virgin wool is basically like the first bit of wool you shear off a sheep. It's a lot rougher than, you know, merino wool. Merino wool is very silky, so it's not very itchy, but virgin wool really is scratchy and itchy. But the good news is I keep this outside of my other layers. Like I have my mid layer right now on right here, and I have these over it. These, like I said, these do a mix of protecting me from the wind and the rain. Wind does not get through these. It's so tightly sewn, I feel no wind in these overalls, and rain just beats right off. And if it does soak in, like I said, will keep you dry and insulated even when it's soaking wet. So I like to wear these especially when I'm doing like exploration of abandoned towns or ruins. You know, all the nails, the thorns, the debris that could poke you and give you tetanus. These do an amazing job at protecting me. It's super thick, it's super strong, and it has all these cargo pockets, has the pockets up here. I like to put my phone up here, or sometime I'll take that GoPro that y'all are looking through and I'll put it right here and attach it so I can get like a POV shot and still use my hands. So I love these overalls. They are expensive. They're a little over $500, so they're not for everyone. I had to save up to get these, but if you can't afford them, I would 100% recommend these overalls. They are amazing. And that is, folks. That's my layering system. Take from it what you will. You know, carve your own path. If you don't like wool, you ain't got to use wool. Merino wool isn't scratchy. A lot of folks are afraid to wear wool because they think it's going to be itchy and scratchy. Merino wool ain't like that. And even the non-merino wool I'm fine with. I've worn it so long that it just don't bother me no more. I mean, I wear wool year round, even in the summer. So that's just me. It may not be the best for you. That's just what I do. But take what you will from what I've told you here. Form your own base layering system, and if you already have one, maybe you can update it, make it better. There's no real right way to do a layering system. There are wrong ways for sure, but there's no one true right way. It just depends on what you're doing, where you live, and how far you're going. This has been a nice hike. It's a gorgeous day, even though if it's a little cold. But I'm gonna go home. My wife is making me some food, so I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna pack up. I hope this video was real informative for you. Leave in the comments if you love these more informative videos. This one was kind of an in-between while I'm editing some of my further explorations. I'll have a video coming out next week, hopefully, about a cave exploration I'm doing. And I'm just exploring different caves in Tennessee, because there are more caves here than anywhere else in the country. So I hope you liked the video. Leave me some feedback in the comments, and if you can, even just put an emoji in the comment. It helps tremendously with the algorithm. I'm slowly growing this channel. I'm up to about 400 subscribers, which I'm incredibly thankful for. I have about almost 40,000 on Instagram. I'm trying to get them to move over and follow me on here. It's just a slow process. But if you like this kind of thing, and if you like bushcraft, backpacking, and if you like seeing a hillbilly explore old ruins in the Appalachian hills, subscribe and stick around, because more of that's coming. And I appreciate you all for watching the video, and you have a good one.